And welcome to another show, Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with a special guest today because Tina is on vacation in Hawaii. My friend down the street is joining us. Hello there, friend down the street. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm feeling a little awkward, but we'll go with it.
Oh, it's okay.
Yes.
First time's always awkward. Yeah, it's, when, we have talked for many, many, many years. So getting together and doing this isn't very hard, but I know that you aren't the greatest talker, and now that you're going to actually do this and it's going to be a recorded thing, it's going to be fun.
To hear my voice, I'll probably want to rip out my eyeball.
No, you'll be fine.
My eardrums.
Yeah,
we'll go with it. Let's do it.
Correct. So we were talking before we got on here because just like every week, we never have any kind of really show lined up. And since Tina was in Hawaii and I didn't know, I was going to skip a week, and I decided not to because I'm kind of crazy when it comes to routine. And so I heard something on the way to work today because I listen to podcasts or music on the way there. And they were talking, this guy was talking about certain things in life that we just kind of have to really not care about or not give a fuck about. And he was talking about judgment and basically how if you live your life with worrying about judgment every day, you're just drowning yourself. And it was basically him going, look, you're going to get judged for what you do right or what you do wrong. So you have to just live. And I thought to myself, like, how do we do that? Because for one, we judge ourselves, which is a bigger hole, right? And you can drown yourself in that. And then we worry about how the outside judges us. And that's a whole other thing that can, really tear people apart. And, me and you, we talk personally a lot. And obviously, without bringing up a million different things that we've talked about, we have our issues. So, and as we change as people, as we get older, I'm trying to let off on that a little bit because I've done enough to myself over the years of judging myself and, or, doing that. So my whole thing was like, okay, if we talk tonight, what can we really do? Or what do you think we can do to tell people like, hey, maybe try this or do this? Because before we got on, like you told me here, like it sounds easy on paper.
Absolutely.
And so for me, I was like, okay. And he did say something else that I thought was part of this that actually really worked is, what are you willing to be liked for and willing to be hated for in life? And I know that that's kind of harsh because no one wants to be hated, but I just think he meant like disliked, because sometimes you're going to do something that no matter what people are going to dislike you for it. And I think he meant, friends, family, whatever, because that also is something that can happen. Your family can turn on you, your friends can turn on you. And generally, after a certain amount of years, the friend thing, like I heard something that was great about, 7 years, right? After 7 years of being a friend with somebody, you generally never stop being friends. Okay. That's like this, thing that they golden say rule. Golden okay. Rule. Yeah. Okay. It's like the golden rule. And which is definitely not true because I've had friends that I've had to get away from because of whatever.
I mean, I think I have friends that I've been friends with for longest 25 years. The least is at least 7 to 10, but there's people I've known throughout my life where you just go, I'm good.
Yeah, because you have to get out.
Yes.
And it could be because they're judgmental.
Or toxic. Yeah. It's just like, bye.
Yeah. Well, because you get to a place where you're changing so much and they're not.
Yes.
And I think that's my thing that's happened over the years. And I felt that I've been judged for whatever. Because as I'm changing, they're staying the same. And now they're judging me for like, oh, you want to do this now, or you're trying to do this or this. We've talked a lot because me and you go to the gym all the time. And you were talking about losing weight and how people treat you different once that happens. And I think that again, it's judgmental because either they want to be what you're doing or whatever. It could be a lot of different things. But I think that that's kind of the thing that I'm judged myself over. Like, being heavy and now I'm getting smaller, that I don't want to work the way backwards of going like judging somebody for, being heavy. Because I did it to myself. I'm not like that, but I can see how people will do that because you get that skinny thing now and you're like, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just do that?
It's so dangerous. I think society, whether you think you're doing it or you don't think you're doing it, because I've been as heavy as 240 pounds, as low as 135. And I feel like I've seen both ends of the spectrum, but I've also been guilty of looking at somebody and go like, how does it get there?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with depression, I think with genetics, it's a cycle and you can fall into it. In 1 minute, you're like, oh, I'm 150 pounds. Next time you turn around, you're like, oh, I'm 240, whatever. Nobody wants to feel like that. Nobody wants to get into a roller coaster seat and not fit. Or look, I remember going to Lane Bryant and not being fat enough, or going to the little Asian stores that are out of LA or locally and being too fat. And they treat you like crap and the other one treats you like crap. And you're thinking, I'm the same person.
Right. Where did it go wrong?
And what makes you, you know what I mean? Whether I'm buying for my daughters or I'm buying for myself, I'm spending money.
Right.
But I also get it thinking like, get there. Like, why is this child 5 years old and 150 pounds? Like, come on now. I mean, small doesn't run in my family.
Me either.
But I was raised with a mom who never had a weight issue until at 50 something or late 40s, she got cancer and medications made her gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
So all my life I heard things and people will just say, oh, well, you just got to get out of that mind frame. Oh, well, if it was that easy. But here's an important person on my life that told me, I'll give you money.
Right.
You'd be so much prettier if you blah, blah, blah. So there's the beginning of your judgment. Because once you're at home and these are people that you love and you look up to and that are detrimental in your overall well-being, and they're picking at you. And so then you start looking in the mirror and you're seeing the things they're seeing and you're feeling the way that they're telling you to feel. And then you go to school and people are teasing you. You go here, and whether it's about the weight, your glasses, or your pimples, or, since little age, these kids are getting fun, And so now we have social media that completely screws with us because, you're seeing all these images come your way and then you're hearing this and you're seeing all these memes and you're just like, it's one mind
fuck.
Okay. Can we do that?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, okay.
Yes.
One mind fuck after another.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's easy to say like, I don't care. You're not paying my bills. And the closer I get to 50, the more I feel like, I don't care. You're not paying my bills.
Mm-hmm.
Still care because I still hear those tapes, those things replaying in my head because those are, again, important.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we do the best we can. And I'm recently, I'd say in the last month, trying positive talk because I feel like the more negative I talk, the more negative I think, the more negative I bring in. So I'm okay. We're going to do positive. We're going to say, what is it? Cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, oh, look up.
Yeah.
My eyes, I can see out of them. Like, just try to praise the good things in our life and maybe that'll bring more good in it. If it doesn't, well, at least we can praise those good things and go, you know what? God, thank you for today and for the little things. And I have a roof over my head.
It's funny too, because you say that positive mindset, like there's so many good things that it does to you because of our brain chemistry, right? The more that you do that, physically you are changing. Even though if it might be microscopic because you're hitting these drugs in your head that we have. So I kind of agree with that. I can have a negative mindset as well. And when I get into that, you end up really going down a rabbit hole of
spiral.
Just shit.
Yeah. Just shit.
Yeah.
You wake up, you're like, I hate everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to get out of bed.
I don't want to go here.
Right.
I don't want to see the sun.
Absolutely.
There's all kinds of those things. So, and then the flip side of that is when you go down that rabbit hole, the people around you start judging you for that.
You're a life sucker.
Yeah.
I don't want to play with her no more.
Yeah. People are like, or they'll do the thing like, well, why are you like this? What's going wrong?
Oh shit!
I can't
push that button, Rob. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the thing. And look, and I'm probably guilty of it as well. And I'm sure I pushed your buttons multiple times.
I want to poke you in the eye on the regular, but same probably. Yeah. That's life.
So exactly, and I think that's look. We're older, and I think it is a little easier. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, I am.
I'm just kidding.
You are definitely correct because
I'm kidding.
You know, I'll always be older than you.
But I'm glad. I feel like with 30, I cried. With 40, I was like, yeah, I'm paying my bills.
Yeah.
F everybody and their opinions. And it, again, on paper, it sounds great, but I'd be a liar to say I didn't care about what you think.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, you know, we've discussed this. I'm not afraid of it. I like being in that same sex relationship for a little while. I mean, people are still people, and times are still times. And as much as people want to say it's, you know, love is love and blah, blah, it is not.
Correct.
It is not. And people aren't as free thinking as you think they are. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
And judgment is brutal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and just in a family thing on the outside, you know, you talk about same-sex marriage or relationships, then you can go interracial, because I think we both have people in our family somewhere that, and even that's still frowned upon.
I mean, we have some beautiful chocolate babies.
But, but what I'm saying,
but yes, I feel you. Oh, absolutely. You'll
is.
hear. Oh no, I'll hear my mom or my. It's like a family friend we grew up with, and she'll say things like, literally, like, "Oh, at least the baby's not so dark," and I just want to punch her in the face.
Right.
Like, are you for real right now? Right. This is 2024. What?
Well, because it's that old school judging, right? And
let them open. That's my theory. Let them open. If they all look the same.
Yeah. Well, and you're in that field, you know, they're all the same.
They are the same.
They're all the same.
Absolutely.
So for me, the whole judgment thing, like I do kind of agree with him when you can say, you know, what are you willing to be liked and disliked for? Because to a degree, sometimes you have to go, I don't care about, I care, but I don't, like, relationship wise, that's the best way of putting it. If you get with somebody that other people don't like, it, within reason, you have to be able to say, I'm happy. And you have to try to bend them. Like, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It is hard. But I don't want to lose, you know, mostly family relationships over something, but I'm also not willing to bend for someone that I may be in love with. If my parents didn't like the girl that I am going to be with, I have to live, because they're going to not be here at some point.
Right. But I feel like you should definitely be sure, because you're never going to get another set of parents.
Without a doubt.
And look, I'll throw it all on the table. I'm somebody that has no relationship with one of my kids right now because they didn't like my last person. Were they right? Kinda. They kind of were. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm how old?
Yeah.
And I'm still me, and I'm still the same person that was doing and loving and whatever I was with you prior to meeting this person. So nobody else should dictate your life. Absolutely.
Correct.
But there are key people in your life, relationships that are, I mean, it's a blow.
No, without a doubt. I mean, you know, you listen to the show, so you know, Tina has a relationship issue with her daughter, and she hasn't talked to her in years and hasn't seen her child, so I get it. And look, what I'm saying is it was all within reason, right? Like, look, I want my family to like the person I'm with. Because I want to be around them with the person that I like. But it's too easy to just judge somebody, and the people who are judging you aren't looking in the mirror, and that's what gets me.
Or ever take a chance to just get to know the person. Like, dude, you can do a background check on paper. Look, I gave birth to baby Huey. He's the sweetest kid ever. 90% of the time. But on paper, there for a while, he didn't look so great because COVID got him and not graduating during a regular graduation and missing out on. I mean, there was a lot of depression that kind of sent him on a spiral. So, but is he still a good kid and it possible of obtaining anything he wants out of his life? Absolutely. So I definitely believe don't judge a book by its cover, but I definitely also think, I mean, if the past shows you and then you meet somebody and they're continuing to show you, well, then, I mean,
correct.
Hindsight's 2020, but red flags are red flags. They're not, missing stars and stripes.
Right. No, I agree. And I think I agree with you with your boy. Like, look, I have a good relationship with him and I know things have happened and I would never judge him on that because look, things happen.
But he is judged.
And yes, that sucks. Yes. And it sucks that you end up losing people who are important to you over something as stupid as, I made a mistake.
I don't think he's lost anybody that way, but I definitely think, on his dad's side as well, that because they're all very limited in their view of life and diversity and, for lack of better words, I'd say shit happens. Mm-hmm. They don't give him a whole lot of chances. And so I just think, and we were literally having this conversation this morning, I'm just like, you just need to get your head right. You need to start continuing to take care of your overall health. Mm-hmm. And when you feel better about yourself, the world will see that and they'll pick you up from there. But I also explained to him that I had seen both sides from being thin. And look, men will open the doors for me like no other now. But at 240 pounds, I mean, here and there, but not like now.
Less.
And it pisses me off. I don't want to have shit to do with any of them.
Right.
Because internally, you're the same person.
Right.
But I also was telling him, when people see you, you're a big boy. And you're never going to be a small boy, but they're still going to see you if you're morbidly obese as a lazy person.
Right.
And there may be some merit to it and there may not be. But at the end of the day, morbidly obese is a health issue. It's not, look, you're never going to be tiny, but you should be healthy because we want you to have good knees and a good heart and good liver, organs.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to explain to a 22-year-old at 49 years old and my life experience and the way people have treated me. And I understand it. Like these young guys will make jokes about it's a fat girl, it's a this, that. Oh, it's funny when it's a fat girl, but it's not funny when you're looking in the mirror and you can't see your stuff below or
Correct.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's hypocrisy, which all judgment is, right? Mm-hmm. None of us are guilt-free except for Jesus. And he ain't coming back till he's coming back.
Right. And I agree with you with like, look, if you want to even get into the whole religion thing, the whole point is don't judge people.
No.
Because,
I mean, bottom line, that says that. Yes, absolutely. Or you'll be judged is what it says.
Right.
So, right.
And at the end, we will. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. Right.
Depending on what you believe.
It is to live a life where you're not judging people because nothing good comes from it.
And what gives you the right?
Well, we're not supposed to have the right.
I mean, everybody's shit stinks.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what I got from his thing today, where he was like, look, you have to understand you're going to walk through the, hallway full of Legos and it's going to hurt, but you have to find a way to go, okay, look, it's okay for what I'm doing because this. My whole thing is don't hurt anybody, right? As long as you're not hurting anybody, live a good life because it's short. And as we get older, it's getting, to me, my mortality is showing a lot more. And again, I'm not super old, but and again, everyone who listens, my mom passed away not too long ago. So I think that really kind of opened my eyes up to mortality and like, look, you got to live and you got to make sure that whatever it is that you want to try to find happiness. And we could probably do a million shows on what we think happiness is because
personal thing.
It's a personal thing. That's what I mean. Happiness is a crazy thing, but to me, I like the idea of, look, I want to live and I'm going to let people judge me. Go have at it.
You have no control over it, whether they do or not.
No, but the people in your life that are close to you,
right.
You're going to have to go, look, I love you. And judge away, but that doesn't change how I feel about you. If you're going to judge me, you're going to judge me. I don't love you any less, because that's how I have to get through the day. I can't worry about them being judgmental to me, because I have to remind myself that, look, I think I'm doing the right thing. That if you're going to judge me, cool, but I'm not trying to judge you at all, and this is the way it is.
It's a hill you're going to die on.
I'm going to try.
Right.
It's not a hill to, I mean,
if it's something you're standing by, or if it's a person that you're standing by, it kind of is.
It is, because I give the example of my son all the time, because look, I could be judged for whoever I like, and that's the way it is. I do my best not to with him, right? Because it's,
you do your best not to what?
To judge the people in his life.
Right now.
Because, well, even,
right.
Yeah, he's so little.
Right.
But even so, even when he brings girls by, and they might not be what I would like to see him with, I never say anything to him. I don't even go, hey, I might go, she's a little quiet for me, and I'm big on thank yous. If we do something, just say thank you. You don't have to talk my ear off. You don't have to, hang around me when we are around. Just be that, have some morals and say some things.
Whole new.
Yeah.
30 and under.
It's really hard. It's so hard. But my bigger thing is not to judge. Like, right. I don't care. It's, you like her, awesome. If that's what your thing is. There's this really nice girl that he knows. She lives really far away, but they hang out every blue moon, and she's like a goth girl and pierced all over, but she's a sweetheart. She's a really nice girl. And they have this roller coaster thing of their friends sometimes, and they say something wrong. Again, they're 20.
Expectations.
And it goes sideways. And then out of nowhere, he's like, oh, look, he's got her on FaceTime. Hey, here, come say hi to her again. And it happened before I came here.
Oh.
And look, whatever. I can't judge him for it, because I chase.
God forbid your taste. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I chase.
You're intense. We've had that conversation.
Right. So for me, I that's why I step back from him now. I don't judge him over that, because it's none of my business. He has to learn his lesson, because we all do.
Right. He's figuring out who he is. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's got a lot of years to do it. Thank goodness. But I think he lives that kind of life, though, where he's always been kind of, since I'm a single dad, he grew up quick. He's always had this attitude of like, whatever, like, I'm going to do this, and I hope my friends understand. And he has a couple of really tight friends that he's known since like 4th grade.
Okay. I was going to ask that. How big is the circle?
Yeah.
The bigger it is, the harder it is.
It is. That's correct. He does carry a small circle. And
smart.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that too. Like, small circle, much better. When you look, and we live in social media where you have a lot of acquaintances, not many friends. And as you get older, it gets harder to have a lot of friends.
Yeah, because everybody's got family and
a life. Right. So yeah. And you can't even judge on that. Like,
that's life.
I know people that get angry, or not angry, but like bummed. They're like, oh, I just wanted to go see my friends this weekend, but they're doing this. Yeah, that's life. Like, that's just the way things are. Like,
no expectations. If I talk to my friend every week, great. If I talk to her every couple of months, great. But we pick up where we left off. And that's when you know it's a friend.
Yes, that's me too. Yeah.
Like, you got stuff, you got babies, grandbabies, husband, boyfriend, whatever. Cool. I'm here when you need to talk. I'm here when you're down the hill or where you're visiting, whatever, and we'll hang out, and it'll be just like it was before we stopped talking.
Yeah. That's me and my best friend. And you've met him. And like, we're, thankfully today, you can be where I'm in a, what do you call it? A group message. So we text all week, but it's generally just bullshit and
superficial.
Yeah. Superficial nonsense. And even so, and I've talked about him on the podcast before, like he's never been that real personal friend with me, even though he's my best friend.
It's a guy.
Uh,
Am I being
No, you're not assuming.
Right.
I
Okay.
think so. I mean, I will if I like we have had serious conversations.
Okay.
Obviously, like during my divorce, we had a serious conversation, and he had some trying times with other females before he got married. And I think he would probably come to me if something was really bad in his marriage. But yes, we've always had that kind of friendship where, and we had a rivalry growing up because we were, I've known him since I was 12 years old. So there was many years where we were jockeying for the same female.
Competitive. Right,
so
that's a guy thing. Am I, again, presumptuous maybe, but yeah.
It's
testosterone.
And then you've seen pictures of us when we were younger. He, it was the 80s. And he had,
I was like, I could see the 80s.
And he had long hair, and he pulled a lot of girls, like really, of that,
right.
A lot of stoner girls. And that was he was around like, so that was his thing. And I ended up in more committed things because that's just who I've always been. So, but it is funny to this day that we're still very, like when we hang out today, it's very not superficial, but very like we talk about certain things.
Keep it light.
But we keep it light. Right. And I probably talk to you more seriously than most of my friends because I know I can lean an ear on you, and
of course I hope.
And you'll give me sometimes the truth I don't want to hear, which we all need. And I like that because I would never judge you, and I don't, because I know you way too. I know you so much better now because we've known each other. Funny, if you go by a year, I've known you since 2006.
Okay.
But really, the last 7 years, we've had a much closer relationship.
For most things in life, we have similar outlooks. I'm not one. I mean, the older I get, the more I feel like if I try to tell the truth, even if it's painful, it's more, it's a better thing to do, is to tell the truth, because instead you're just prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
I also, though, am guilty of being in bad places for a long time because I don't want somebody to feel hurt or upset and have to deal with the judgment from that.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try to keep everybody happy. But all these years of trying to keep everybody happy has jacked me up.
Right.
So here I am at almost 50 going, look, I love everybody that I love, and you guys are all my people, but I'm just now almost 50 years old trying to figure out who the fuck I am.
Right.
And it's a hard place to be. And people will go, just fuck everybody and fuck their opinions. And you know what? You got to get over what people used to tell you when you're growing up. And you know what? Just develop thicker skin. And it sounds awesome in theory, but it's just not that easy.
It's not.
Especially when you're your biggest mind fucker ever. I'm an overthinker.
Yeah.
I have damage. I'm my worst critic. I could probably, if I had enough money, totally reinvent myself, because and even then I would still have a problem with something, because I have that Michael Jackson thing, because I hear that voice that was really important to me, or those people that made fun of me. And I'd like to just go, you know what? Fuck all you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, probably got a small dick and she probably has scars, and we all have shit.
Correct.
But it's still, you hear those voices and you try to stop them, but it's just not that easy.
It's
for everybody. It may be easy for some people, but again, this is where I've gone back to recently, just going, you know what? Hey, you got nice teeth. Oh, hey, your eyes are really pretty. Oh, look at your eyelashes. Oh, you know what? You got really pretty feet. Like, I'm trying to find the good.
Right.
Because
and
life is too short. I mean, we all should.
Yeah.
And it all sounds easy. You could just point to somebody and go, you should do this. But when you step back and judge yourself,
you can't.
Man, you stop and go, you know what? It's easy to tell somebody else, but hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How's your backyard looking?
That's me.
It's all of us.
Yeah. I'm all up for trying to give advice because, look, we all want to hear something from somebody, but you're right. When you look at your own backyard, it's unkept.
They're like assholes.
Yeah. We all got them.
Everybody has one.
It's true.
And they all stink.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's true.
Such a plumber's daughter.
And I think, look, you're you are a people pleaser, and I'm sure you've been judged for that, because that's the easiest thing to look at somebody and go, well, why do you keep doing this? And because that's who you are, and it's hard, and I'll tell you, because of our friendship, look, you've been at times not truthful enough, and you've been extremely truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, the second one hurts way more.
But it's hard. And then you cry just as probably, I know I can speak for myself. I cry just as much as the person I probably hurt.
Yeah.
I
that's me.
Oh, it kills me. I don't want to do that. Like, oh, does this outfit make me look fat? I mean, I would choose something else. Yeah. But like, I would never be like, oh yeah, you just need to da-da-da, or you just need to. Yeah. I don't know what anybody just needs to do, because here I am still trying to figure out what I need to do.
Correct.
And so if I can maintain relationships without hurting somebody, I mean, that's my goal.
Correct. I agree. But I do agree with you that, look, the truth hurts, but sometimes you have to say it.
What if you don't know what it is? What if you're trying to still clean your backyard and figure out what you want in life, or what you think of yourself, or what you think of somebody else? It's really hard.
Then I would say hard. It is, but then I would say, it all matters who you're talking to. So no, it does. I'll give you an example. Look, I think we probably have a relationship that is the outside looking in. People would go, I have no fucking idea what that is. And from our inside looking
you're
out,
a fucking idiot is what they tell you.
They have.
I'm sure
many
of it.
times.
I'm absolutely. You don't even have to tell me that.
I know I don't.
No, and I get that too.
Yeah.
I also get where I'm at, which I don't have enough time here to even explain.
But here's the thing. I think in our case, and I'm just using us as an example.
Correct.
You could look at me and go, the truth right now is this. At least I would understand where you're coming from, though. And I think that's what you're doing with me, mostly in the last. Well,
I think I've been super truthful with you recently.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That you have. But what I'm saying is that if you didn't know, because you're like, what if I don't know?
No.
Right. But what I'm saying is that the truth right now is this.
Right.
And if I can't take the truth that is here right now, then that's my own fault, because you're saying that. And I think that that's what everyone needs to do, because you're right. The truth may change.
It changes every day.
Exactly. Well, we talked about that personally, about how we've changed and how we're going to continue to change. I think that that's the thing, because I saw something.
I hope so.
I saw something somewhere about relationships and about how our grandparents, so not our parents, but our grandparents, and how their relationships are. And look, it was a different time. It was a much different time. And you can put those, yes, no phones, geez. And you can put, look, it was a different time as well for women, and how things were done. Like, it
was femininity and
there was also not feminism. So like,
right.
They really, even our grandparents had jobs, but they were different. Like, and again, this is going to come off, if it sounds sexist, it is what it is. And I don't care.
There's something to that.
But my grandmother on my mom's side was a teacher, and that's what she did. And she, on Sundays, went to church and did Sunday schools, and it was a different time. But relationships then, the people still changed, right? They grew, and look, divorce wasn't as prevalent then, but you could still get it done, but it wasn't as prevalent, because I think people fought for something that they saw their mates changed, and they didn't judge them. They went, okay, she's changing for whatever. How can I
keep up?
Go to her and say, okay, I see you're changing. What can I do to maintain our relationship together? I don't think people do that now.
No, they just look at the grass screener that somebody's showing their highlight reel.
Yeah.
And in reality, they're a hot mess too.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about on the show.
Swiping here and swiping there. Here. And that's just so degrading.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It's a horrible thing. I hate it. it is the most degrading is the best way of putting it. It's just absolutely. Because it has nothing to do with who you are.
No, and look, we all can take a good picture or write down the words here and there. I told you 2 days, 200 and something messages, and that's great. But it's like sifting through a pile of manure, and I'm sure that there was probably some great people in there.
Sure.
If I ever have to come back again, is there's reincarnation. No offense to you, but I'd love to be a man because your guys' self-esteem versus ours is it's a whole nother ballgame. But
I agree, but
the balls on people and the things that they say and the way that they address women and the things that they'd send, I deleted it.
Right.
I deleted it. And I considered going back and I deleted it again because it's just a shit show. Yeah. And I just feel like,
well, because I think
figure out who I am first.
I think because the long haul of it is because I know you and I know who you are. And I think, and we've talked about it personally, there's so many things I don't know about you. Absolutely. And look, that's the reality of people. And
I'm sure the same.
Yeah. And I'm very open with you, but I'm sure that there's something that either hasn't come up in conversations, whatever.
Or personality traits. We all have isms.
Yes, we all
OCD,
have isms.
Or
yeah. But to me, I think
else wants to kill us.
At the end of the day, like you can be the prettiest girl on planet Earth and be the biggest cunt.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it.
And it'll come out eventually.
Yeah. And you can be a not so good looking man and be the sweetest, best person on the planet. And so there's that thing of, I like your inside. And I've said it on the show, I'm sure at some point, I think you're utterly attractive, but I think your insides are way more attractive because I've been around you, around other people. And I think the people judge on looks first instead of ever getting to know someone.
That's a fact. And so as women, especially, and sorry to interrupt you, but as women, especially, I think we have it harder. I mean, of course, a woman will look at an attractive man and you have both attributes as well. You're pretty on the inside and on the out, but I feel like, we're judged harshly.
I agree.
Yeah, we are. And we're criticized more frequently. And, we have to feel like, and for the people that don't feel like that, I'm almost
envious.
Absolutely envious. And I want to be where she's at. Tina today's gone. I listen to you guys talk and I dig her self-esteem. Yeah. I think it's awesome.
She has a shit ton of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And if I could leave my girls anything, that's what I tried. And I never critiqued them and I never said anything to them, but they heard me shit talk myself all the time. Yeah. And so I see the same things going on with them and it breaks my heart and I'm ashamed of myself.
Doing this show all the time with her. And look, I will be the first to tell you that I don't have the greatest confidence in the world. So, and I envy her because she says things that even I go, fuck.
I need a roadmap.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wish that was me.
For sure.
And even me and Tina talk off the air about personal things. And she has her issues and she'd be the first to tell you because she has on the show many, many times. But it's hard for women and there's no lie. And look, now to be fair, it is definitely harder for men at certain things as well. Like the dating thing, the dating apps is horrible for men just because you have to hook somebody right away. I can swipe right 50 times and never get a match. So like there's things about that.
Like a match as far as being attracted to somebody or a match with somebody that likes you back?
Yeah, something that likes you back. So there is on both sides of that. But now here's the flip side. I think in a public setting, and we'll just use a bar as an example because that is real. Yeah. I mean, look, you've had some issues with meeting people at a bar. But the reality of that is that I still, even there, I don't think it's an even playing field. Look, women are going to be judged on their looks first, no matter what, 100%, and probably on a much larger level. We judge everything about a woman. And you're right. It can be as simple as, oh, she's this, and this, but, a guy, look, I hate to say it, but I think women are better at least looking at a man who might not be the most attractive. There has to be something there. But going, I talked to him for a little bit. He's a nice guy. I'd like to get further. Guys might not even approach a person unless it's fully about attractiveness at first.
Okay. So I'm going to beg to differ though, because I feel like
that's good.
I've been hit on more with no makeup on and not done up than I am when I'm all done up, because I think a lot of times people think I'm unapproachable because I'm so extra.
That's what I mean though. Like in a bar setting, you're generally looking 100%. I think, and I think, what's the best way of putting it without being horribly bad?
Be honest.
No, but like you're right though, with no makeup on, I think they think like she's a regular person.
Right.
And that's the best. I'm
not a magician though. It's like
no, but
there's some eyelashes, maybe that's it.
No, but it is something
right.
about going like you're approachable. Like she's not done up. She's not this Barbie doll
or high maintenance.
Yeah, or high maintenance or
I'm paying the bill.
Yeah. No, but you know that you're right. And I think that there is something about that. I heard a guy talk about it, and I've told you before. And he goes, you want to take a girl on a first date, take her camping. Because
swimming.
He's swimming. Because he goes, if you can wake up the next day getting out of a tent and her hair's in a fucking ball and
not Coyote Ugly yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and like we hang out all the time, or not all the time, but we'd hang out. And that, you're so open with me. You're like, look, if you want to come over and hang out, we're going to barbecue, but I look like a mess.
Yeah. Right now, I won't wear shorts outside of my house, but I'm wearing shorts.
But to me, like, I do see you as, you're just more real when, and look, I've seen you dolled up and I've seen you with no makeup on. So like, but I do like that you're comfortable with me enough to be like, yeah, just come over and like, whatever.
That's what it is.
No, but that's attractive.
Okay.
That is attractive. And I think you're right when it comes to that kind of thing of approaching somebody.
It's approachable.
Yeah. Right. You're approachable.
But if you look at my track record, and I know you've seen probably 75% of the people I dated, I'm not one to go for the football player or the hot guy, or I'm not.
No,
I know you gotta have a sense of humor. You gotta be bigger than me. I have a criteria, but
I think
definitely not in looks.
You like
at least my
people for who they are.
Not looks. Absolutely. No, but maybe 1 out of 4. No.
Yeah.
Even then.
And I saw that one.
And it's
And he was a good looking guy.
But he was a dick.
Yeah.
Still a dick.
And it was so funny too, because yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
We were talking about, at one point your daughter said something about me and him. And for a second
I missed that conversation.
No, you told me that.
Did I?
Yeah, that she said that I was that I was attractive except for him. That I was better than everyone else except for him.
Yes,
and there is a great reason. And then I was like, yeah,
it's your dad.
Yeah, it's her dad. But look, I've seen a picture of him, and he was a good looking guy.
He was.
And then I started thinking to myself one time, I was like, well, wait a second. I'd like to see a picture of that age and me at that age,
right?
And wonder if like
it's comparable.
Yeah, if it's comparable. So
absolutely.
So for me, it was just kind of a humorous thing. But look, you go, and I like that about you. You don't judge people like they're not the most attractive, but they're good people, or they have a good heart and they're good inside. Because long run,
or you hope that they can live up to a certain potential. I sat there for 2 years hoping.
Yeah. Well, I think we've all been there where you're hoping that potential leads somewhere, or you're in a marriage and you're hoping that it turns a corner somewhere, and it just doesn't.
Right.
And I've been pretty honest on here. Like, I know in my marriage, not near the end, but in my marriage during the early years of it, I did a lot of shitty stuff that we both read a book, and I've talked about it on here about narcissism. And I don't believe I'm a narcissist to that level, but there was a lot of things in there that hit home for me that I did.
You don't have traits.
Yeah. And I'm glad. Look, we've talked about after that I know that I'm not that textbook
No.
narcissist.
No.
But it did kind of hurt me that
Familiar.
Yes, yeah, very familiar. I think we should do it. Well, when we do a show, we'll have to bring you on and we'll do it again. And when you're ready to talk about it, because that's going to be a show. And it's no different than some of the stuff that Tina's kind of brought up, that those shows are rough.
Yeah.
They're rough. But I think that those are the things where like I judged myself after reading that about what I did. Now, look, it's a two-way street. We've talked about that personally, that like your relationships are always two-way streets. You're both involved and you're both at fault.
Oh man, that's why I say it. It's your side, their side, and the truth lies in the middle.
Yeah.
But if I can just interject right now and say that the fact that you're speaking about what you're speaking about shows you have empathy, and narcissists don't have empathy.
Right.
I can definitely attest.
I've done bad things, and I don't. And look, what most people would consider bad. No, with relationships and involved with people and whatever. And the last couple of years, I've had conversations with myself. I've judged myself because I don't go back on what I did, and I would never say like I regret anything I've done. But I have looked at life and what I've done to other people, and it sucks.
Comes full circle. I'm sure you pay for it one way or another. I definitely feel it.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah.
But those are the things that I think that you have to kind of throw out when we're talking about being judged. Like, judge me for what I did. That's fine. And I hope that the people who know me during that can see that I'm not the same person that I was then, and continue to move forward. But I think that if you continue to try to judge people on these minor things in life, and we do it, and we all continue or will. I'm just doing my best to not take the judgment on me. Like, I can't live every day going, oh, I wonder what this person thinks of me.
Right.
I wonder if they're going to do this, or if I see them in passing, are they going to go, oh, he's the guy that did this? I can't worry about that anymore.
And I posted something last week about that, as saying, if that's the case, check your paycheck. How's that show up on you?
Yeah.
What they
think? It doesn't.
Nope, it doesn't.
Right.
That helped me, which is why I posted it. Oh, like, wait.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to judge me any harsher than I do.
Correct.
Fact.
That's a total fact.
No. I mean, I don't know if everybody's like that, but I can guarantee you can think whatever you think. I'm probably going to think worse.
Yeah. I think that that's the bigger thing, is that, look, we me and you both have an overactive brain.
Therapeutic.
Yeah. We go to the gym mighty early in the morning. And when we meet there, it's humorous that both of us are like, so how bad was sleep last night? and it sucks. And it's been like this for a long time for me. And I had some really bad years a long time ago. And since I moved out the direction that I live now, my sleep has been better. not 100%, but definitely better. But I have an overactive brain, and I dream a lot. And when that happens, where I get in a zone, and I'm really bad. Like, if I wake up at 2 a.m, I stare at the ceiling, and then I start judging myself over whatever it is that's going on in my life. And it could be as simple as something I said to my kid. It could be as simple as I did this before work, whatever it is that turns my brain on is a switch. And it's very difficult for me to get away from that. Which is why I'm trying to live my life a little different now, where I can go, okay, like, stop for a second, relax. Are you really judging yourself for the wrong reasons? Are you letting your brain get overactive for the wrong reasons? And I try to go back to sleep, and I'm trying to do better with that. Just because I think that your mind is this very vast thing that can really, really fuck you up. And I think, we've talked about it personally, and then me and Tina have talked about it on the show about therapy. And I think that I really need to start looking into that. And
absolutely, I think it's good for everybody. I don't care if you're great in your self-esteem or if you're overthinker, you're underthinker. I think if you could find the right outlet, therapist, friend, counseling, clergy, whatever floats your boat. If you can find the right outlet to just kind of bounce things off and there's no vested interest other than they're just doing their job,
right.
I think that's a win. And again, we talked about a recent therapy session I went to. That was like, I have been through therapy since I was 14 on and off. And I think it's all been pissing in the wind, for lack of a better term. Here or there. I had one prior to the one that I just had, and I like her. I'll probably see her again. But if you find somebody that you're connecting with and can give you proper tools, they can help you through that self-judgment a bit more than you can do it on you. To do anything on your own is insane.
Yeah.
Because you'll get in your head and
yeah.
yourself endlessly. So it's good to bounce something off of somebody that has no vested interest other than to aid you through the insanity.
Right. Give you some kind of pointer or lead you in a direction of whatever.
Right. Or tools. Yeah. Because, we're so clouded by our unrealistic beliefs and thoughts and tapes and shit that we were raised with that we're not thinking straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can change to where you're almost panicking or overinflating things, imagining things, and then you just lose your mind.
Yeah. Then you go spiral again out of control.
Medication.
Right.
There's other problems. That's a whole nother show.
Right.
So yeah,
exactly.
For
That's
sure.
The point.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think you just need to pull yourself out of it and think, like you said, life is short.
Yeah.
Life is short. And yeah, it sucks to feel like this or whatever, but tomorrow's a new day. Start again.
I'm doing my best to do that. Look, it's just 24 hours.
Right.
And then you have another 24 hours to fix, look at things differently, I was talking with Tina about it. I'm sure not too many shows ago, just that I've seen things different religiously and how my life is different. There is something that you can really get internally from that. But I never saw that, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
and I think that as mundane as people think a sunrise and a sunset can be, it's really not.
How many do you have?
Yeah.
And literally, if you believe in the Quran, the Bible, whatever, I can say, I don't know about the Quran, but I know the Bible says to worry is a sin. And to look past in the past also is not good. To look forward is also not good. You're supposed to just take one day at a time and be thankful for what you got.
Yeah, live in the present. There is something about that
you're not trusting if you're not. You're not trusting your higher power, whatever that may be. So not trust that. And that's where I convict myself. Okay, I'm worrying. What's worrying doing besides taking away from my life, make me look older, make me want to stress or drink or smoke or whatever your vice is. Right. I mean, life's short.
And I think that is the big thing, where worrying will do much more damage to the inside of you than we think.
It's been proven.
Yeah, right. We know that it will physically do things to you. We've talked personally about, like, because we're both eaters when it comes to, we either stress eat or don't eat at all. So I've made myself sick to where, like, I won't eat for days, and over something that, does it mean something? Yes, but it's not going to fix the problem.
Probably wasn't worth it.
So why? Well, because then you end up talking it through with somebody and you realize I was stressing over something that wasn't even real. It was in my own head. You sent me something the other day that was really funny. The thing about just be honest with me, because if not, my own head will come up with a story.
15 scenarios.
Yeah, I'm really good at that. So
I know.
Yeah, because and that's just judging myself over things I've done in the past, whatever it is. There's a plethora of things of why we do that.
And you have a whole scenario that probably isn't even applicable.
It's not even true. It's nowhere near true. As a matter of fact, I've got to where you end up talking to somebody and you're like, what's wrong with you? I didn't that's not what I said or what I mean, or you're the best at going, just fucking relax.
Right. But I'm giving that advice while I'm stressing on everything or self-medicating with food or alcohol or,
correct,
cuss words or whatever it may be.
But when it comes to helping the other side, look, I'm good at giving advice, but I'm horrible at taking my own because we 9.5 times out of 10 know what we're supposed to do, but your mind will tell you don't. Mm-hmm. So,
and what's your worry going to change? And what is your will going to change? Because if the other person or the other scenario or whatever isn't in the same realm you are, or even thinking about the same craziness that you've now generated in your brain, you're just living like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a crazy person too, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. Mm-hmm. But I think we can make ourselves
correct
worrying about other people.
So at the end of the day, look, I would love to tell you that it was easy not to judge yourself, but it's not. I think it's a daily thing to just tell yourself, get through the day and don't judge people and do your best to not let yourself be judged. And, we've talked about, me and you personally, what we think happiness is, and neither of us can come up with a good answer because who knows, right?
But we need to be our own children.
Yeah.
We need to cheer ourselves on and the people we love and do our best. And we may not love them the way that they need us to love them, and they may not love us the way we need to love them. But do they love us? They're there for us.
Yes.
In our village and our people and the people that we know are that are not crazy, but there are kinds of crazy. I mean, and wake up every day and do our cognitive behavioral therapy. Hey, I woke up and I'm alive and I paid my bills.
Yep. And I'm gonna make it through the day.
Fuck all those other assholes and their judgment.
That's perfect. Well, we're gonna end it on that because I think that it's always you guys that have the last word. I'm never good at that one. It's gotta be because I never come up with a good one. So yeah, make sure to check out our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can hear these podcasts. Tina will be back next week after her lovely Hawaii trip. I think she's in Kauai, so good for her.
Jelly.
Yeah, I know, it's super jelly. I've never been there. I told you.
I've never been to Hawaii.
I've never been to Hawaii, so we're gonna have to gear up and go. All right, it's Opinion Show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. For my friend down the street, thank you for joining me.
Yes.
And you're great. So you can come back and do this anytime. We'll see. And I'm Rob, and we'll see you next week. See ya.